So, Mataji, when you're ready, I think it's 46 now. Devotees will join as we
Thank you.
It's up to you. Maybe you want to wait for a couple of minutes. That's all.
Okay, I'll wait just a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
We'll start then. Is that okay to start?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody, dear devotee. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, from text 23 to 44. Text 23. Eko navimse vimsatme Vishnu prapaya janmani Rama Krishna vi iti bhuva Bhagavan arahat param.
In the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advanced himself as Lord Balram and Lord Krishna in the family of Vishnu, the Yadu dynasty, and by so doing, he removed the burden of the world.
Text 24. Tatha kalo samprapte shamoya shuradesham buddha namanjana shuta kikatse bhavishyate.
Then, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as a Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theists.
Text 25. Adeshu yoga sandhyayam dasho prapeshu rajeshu janita vishnu yashasho namna kalki jagatpate.
Thereafter, at the conjunction of two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu Yasha. At this time, the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunders.
Text 26. Avatarehi ashankya harir shatta nidetujva yat vidashtana kulau sharashashuya sahasrasha.
O Brahmanas, the incarnation of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from the inexhaustible sources of water.
Text 27. Rasho manavo deva manu putra mahajushaha kalau sharbe harir eva shamprajat pataya smitaha.
All the rishis, Manus, demigods, and the descendants of Manu, who are especially powerful, are plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This also includes the Prajapatis.
Text 28. Ete chamsha kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Shayam Indriyani Bakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge.
All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists.
Text 29. Janma guyam bhagavato yayetam praptaha naraha sayam pratirganam bhakta dukha gramad vimuchyate.
Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all the miseries of life.
Text 30. Edatrupam bhagavato ye arupashachit atmanaha maya gunar virachitam mahadavir atmane.
The conception of the Virat universal form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent and neophytes to adjust to the idea of Lord having form. But factually, the Lord has no material form.
Text 31. Yatha navashi maghavoi renurva parthivo nale evam drashtasi dishvatam aropitam abhutevi.
Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conception on the spirit self.
Text 32. Atha param yat apyakam avu aviduguna primhitam adhastaste vatshu tapat sajivo yat punarbhavaha.
Beyond this gross conception of the form is another subtle conception of form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtlety. Otherwise, he could not have repeated births.
Text 33. Yat yatra me sad ashat rupe paridishe swasambhita avidya yatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam.
Whenever a person experiences by self realization that both the gross and the subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time he sees himself as well as the Lord.
Text 34. Yadi yeshu patra devi maya vaishadimati sampanna evati vidur mahimisa mahiyate.
If the illusory energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with the knowledge by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with the self realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory.
Text 35. Evam janmani karmani hi akatur anjanashaya varam yanti sma kavayo veda guhani ritpataye.
Thus, learned men describe the births and the activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart.
Text 36. Savaidam Savaidam vivasham agmanela Srijatiyavati atina srija ashmin Bhuteshu charahitatmatara Swava Savadvikam jikarat sagunesha.
The Lord, whose activities are always spotless, is the master of the six senses and is fully omnipotent with six opulences. He creates and manifested universe, maintains them, and annihilates them without being in the least affected. He is within every living being and is always independent.
Text 37. Nacha yeshu kaschim nipune dhatur aviti janet kumanishayutu namani rupani manovachiva shanat bhatuna tacharyam jivana.
The foolish with the poor fund of knowledge cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord, who is playing like an actor in a drama. Nor can they express such things, neither in their speculation nor in their words.
Text 38. Sadevaduto Sadevadatu Padavim Parasha Duranti Vrisha Shadra Rangata Panaye Yomaya Shata Shantaya Ubitaya Vuche Tutapada Sharajo Grandham.
Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence.
Number 39. Atheya Danya Bhagavantayitam Yad Vasudevika Kila Lokanate Kurbanti Sarvatmakam Atmabhavam Nayetra Bhuna Parivatra Ugra.
Only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental acoustics love into the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantee 100% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death.
640. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Sloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasha Lokasha Dhanyam Swatsi Aham Mahat.
This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literally incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect.
Text 41. Tad itam grayayam esha shrutam atmanavat param sarva bede itihashanam saram samudditam.
Srila Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of the Vedic literature and histories of the universe.
Text 42. Sadhu samsrabhayam asha maharajan parishkitam prayopavistam gangayam paritam paramam rishi.
Shukdeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva,
Recording
delivered the Bhagavatam to the great Emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by the sages on the bank of Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink.
X43 Krishneshwadham Dhamopagate Dharma Jnana Dishwa Dharma Shari Jnana Divisha Kalau Nashta Drisham Esha Purnarko Dunuditya.
This Bhagavatam Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran.
X44 Tatra Kritaur Kita tu Vipra Shervunite Jasha Aham Chada Gamam Tatra Nivastata Anugrahat Soham Vayashami Yatitam Atramati.
O learned Brahmanas, when Shukdeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with the rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learnt the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learnt it from him and as I have realized it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Palika
Forgive me
Mataji.
for all the mistakes I made. I
It
may
was
not
all
pronounce
wonderful,
it.
very sweet recitation. It's naturally sweet. When you
Uh,
speak,
thank
everything is sweet.
Please
Thank you,
forgive
Shiva
me
Mataji.
if I made.
Hare Krishna.
Perfect. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we will now go to the verse for the day. Okay, so we will be discussing verse number 38 today. Canto 1, chapter 3, verse 38. So I will recite once again, and we will read the synonyms, translation, and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Meshtaki. Verse number 38. Saved-dhatu padavim parasya Duranta-viryasya rathanga-pane Yo mayaya santataya-nuvritya Bhajeta tatpada-sarojagandham. Saved-dhatu padavim parasya Duranta-viryasya rathanga-pane Yo mayaya santataya-nuvritya Bhajeta tatpada-sarojagandham. Beautiful slope. Synonyms, word for word translation. Sa, he alone, Veda can know, dhatu of the creator, padavim glories, parasya of the transcendence, duranta viryasya of the greatly powerful, ratha angapane of Lord Krishna, who bears in his hand the wheel of a chariot. Yah, one who, amayaya, without reservation, santataya, without any gap, anuvritya, favorably, bhajeta, renders service, tatpada, of his feet, saroja gandham, fragrance of the lotus. Translation: only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Only the pure devotees can know the transcendental name, form, and activities of Lord Krishna due to their being completely freed from the reactions of fruitive work and mental speculation. The pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render incessant service to the Lord spontaneously, without any reservation. Everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord, indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Those who are rendering service indirectly, being forced by the illusory agent of the Lord, are rendering service unto him unfavorably. But those who are rendering service unto him directly under the direction of his beloved agent are rendering service unto him favorably. Such favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord, they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. But the mental speculators remain in darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself guides the pure devotees toward the path of realization due to their constant engagement in loving service of the Lord in spontaneous affection. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. Fruitive activities and speculation are no qualification for entering. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsa. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nama Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adigaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangham langayate giram yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatharanam. Hare Krishna. Welcome all on this long weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I seek everyone's blessing so that I'm able to speak something useful for everyone, and firstly for my own purification. Thank you so much. So we'll read the verse. Saveda dhatu padavim parasya duranta viryasya rathanga pani yomayaya sant tayanuvritya bhajeta tat pada sarodi gandham. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. This is another beautiful verse. How Bhagavatam is so beautiful, how the words are placed, so amazingly, as we understand from Srila Prabhupada and his devotees, like how everything is formed like dhatu. Dhatu is also described as the a root verb in Sanskrit, which means from that root word, all the other words are created. Like kri is for doing is a kri. Likewise, there are over 2,000 dhatu words. So how that is being used here as the creator. So that's the root. So Sri Krishna is the root from whom everything begins. And also there's amazing name of the Lord being used here as Rathanga Pane. Ratha means chariot, Anga is the part of the chariot which is wheel, and Pane is the hand. The Lord Krishna who bears in his hand the wheel of a chariot. It is so relevant and so correct in the context. It's incredible, unbelievable how this is being put. Like how the verse goes as those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service. Like the wheel is also denoted as which rotates all the time, so it's just not stopping. Yeah. But then it is being used in the context of Lord's name as Ang Pane, the Lord Krishna who bears in his hand the wheel of a chariot. So there is this beautiful pastime within Mahabharata of Lord Krishna takes the wheel out of the chariot and rushes towards Bhishma to kill him. Lord was so angry apparently because Bhishma was shooting arrows at Arjun. That was happening. But the Lord, is in the same context as the devotees render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service. Similarly, the Lord also renders uninterrupted service, unreserved. Amayaya, this is the word that is being described here without reservation. And sorry, I'm going to stop sharing. Yeah. In the context, Amayaya, this is used in various places in Bhagavatam, and it's also translated as without duplicity or without illusion, serving without duplicity in that way. And Lord Krishna had given a vow to not fight in the war of Mahabharata. That was his vow that he had given, announced publicly that I will not fight. And the choice, as we know, was given to Duryodhan and Arjun to either select him, who will not be fighting, or the Narayani Sena. So Duryodhan took the Narayani Sena, and Arjun picked up the Lord without him being fighting, just to get his association. The Lord became the charioteer. And in his vow that he will not fight was actually became secondary to protect his devotee. That means in whatever condition, even at the risk of his own name and fame being impacted by someone who's broken his promise, he fought for the devotee, which is why it is like unreserved, without any duplicity, without any reservation. Like we may have some reservation, we will serve the Lord, on a good day. We'll read Bhagavatam, recite Bhagavatam. It's not pretty much, we're not doing a lot today. It's a good idea to read some Bhagavatam or or maybe go to temple or maybe do some devotional service. No, it's uninterrupted, means never stops in no conditions, in no situation. So Lord was protecting his devotee Arjun under no situation. That was one aspect to it. The other aspect was also because there was one side, Lord had taken his own vow to protect his devotee, but also not fight. And also there is this vow that Bhishma had taken to make Lord pick up his weapon. So to also keep the vow of his another devotee Bhishma, Lord picked up the chariot. Same, uninterrupted. There cannot be any situation where Lord will not keep his devotees' words or will not protect his devotees at the cost of his own words and his own vows and promise. He does that. So it is, and this verse is like a mirror verse, not duplicate, mirror sort of verse of Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radhav Shaje Ahitukiya Pratihata Yayatma Suprasidati. We read that verse earlier, and it was the Ahituki Apratihata. Ahituki means without any motivation, any other motivation, other hetu, other reason, but just to serve the Lord. Apratihata is again uninterrupted, unstoppable. Similar concept here. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. So knowing the Lord, I can also say, I know the Lord. I read it in Krishna book or Bhagavatam. Lord appeared to Mother Devaki in his four-handed form. Then on the request, he took the form of a baby with two-handed, and he was taken to Gokul by Vasudev, and then he was Nanda Maharaj was there. So I've read all these things. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yovati tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam soiti arjuna. So Krishna's promise that whoever knows my janma karma, my birth and my activities in truth, will never take birth again. So similarly, someone who's serving the Lord unreserved, uninterrupted, he can only understand. He can only know the Creator. So when I know, I've only actually read and heard from the devotees, but I've not realized. Otherwise, I'll be perfect. And so this realization, for the purpose of the realization, this next step is also done, where we serve the Lord unreserved. Reserved is like reservation. It's very interesting how Prabhupada also beautifully translates everything, all the words. Unreserved. There is no reservation. We go in India, there's train reservation. Here also there's train reservation. We have our seat, and that's where we'll sit. So that means we have adhikar to be there in that position or sit at that particular place. Adhikar is like my right. When it is unreserved, devotee has no reservation, in the sense he's just completely dependent on the Lord, on the mercy of the Lord. Whatever comes on the way, Lord will protect. Obviously, we're not suggesting that go unreserved in the compartment, the trains, but the concept is like that. And this also uninterrupted satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dridhavrata namasyantasya mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained, always satatam kirtayanto mam. Those, they're always chanting my glories. Satatam, same word, santataya. What's the word used here? Yeah, santataya, without any gap. Without any gap, like also like if you understand the concept of even if there's a small gap in the joints, like in the buildings or we go in the boat ride or wherever, if there is a small gap, the water can seep in. If there's a small gap also in a devotee's service to the Lord, Maya can creep in. That's why without any gap. Yeah. Prabhupada, translated Santataya, without any gap. So there is no gap. There is no space which will allow Maya to enter. This is the activities of the devotees. Like Srila Prabhupada, in his own case, there was no reservation. He was alone in Vrindavan and in the Delhi heat, the summer. He was even hit by a bull once. He was hurt. And he was distributing Bhagavatam. And he had no reservation that I should have a good place to stay. Then I can do my bhakti properly, or I have a proper following. He was alone. He came to the America. Alone he was sitting under a tree and chanting. And he had no money, no support. At that age, it's inconceivable. This is the living example of all these verses that we read about the devotees of the Lord. We can see all that Srila Prabhupada had and how he demonstrated all this in a word. Sorry. Very loud. And this was a demonstration by Srila Prabhupada of this verse, unreserved, uninterrupted. Whether he had nothing or he had everything, it was always for the service of the Lord. He was always engaged in the service of the Lord. When he had thousands and thousands of disciples, whether he had 40 rupees or he had $40 million, whatever situation, he demonstrated for us to follow. We can't imitate great souls, but we can follow on the footsteps and take inspiration how we can do that. And this Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantasya Dridhavrata means always Yatantasya, always endeavoring. Dridhavrata with great determination. Always, with that, yes, I will do it in no situation, in no conditions. Always Nitya Yukta Upasat Namasyantasya Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasati. So without any gap, Santataya Upasate, they perform the worship. So there's also the famous verse from Srila Rupa Goswami, Anya Bhilasita Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavrtam Anukulyena Krishnanu Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. Anya Bhilasita Sunyam. There is no any other Abhilasha, no other desire. Sunyam, zero. Zero desire apart from serving the Lord favorably. Anukulyena. Janma karmadi anavratam. So whether it is about taking high birth or taking no birth, or this is the three types of transcendentalists. There's this devotees, or if we can call them, the Brahmavadis and Paramatmavadis, and the devotees, the Bhagavan worshippers, which are the devotees. Yeah, but there is a motive in the jnana and karma. Srila Narottam Das Thakur in one song says, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevala Vishera Bhand. Palika Mata is still in Bengali. Vishera Bond means bond. Vishera means the poison. Narottam Das Thakur says this Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda are the pots of poison. Kevala Vishera Bhand. Because why is a poison? Because it's a self-destruction. It is not taking the soul to the correct position. And someone with the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, they try to be peaceful. More of Jnana Kanda try to be peaceful, and they may even achieve some peace, but not ultimate peace. Because Mahaprabhu also says in Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita is Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ata Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Ashanta. Krishna Bhakta Nishakama means they have no personal desire, no motives, uninterrupted, unreserved. Ata eva shanta. That's why they are peaceful. But bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, bhukti are the yogis. They want the karma kandi are bhuktis. They want to enjoy by performing yajnas and this and that. Go to the higher planetary system and just enjoy the very same. Prabhupada is saying the very same problem they have here. They want to take it to the next planet and next birth also. And the mukti, they have desire to be mukti jnana kandas. They want to become liberated. And the yogis want to become siddhis. When they perform all the ashtanga yoga, and if the motive is not correct, in the sense self-motivated, then they get ashtasiddhis. So they can become smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest and all that. But they are shakal ashant, means they're completely disturbed. They can never be peaceful. But the devotee is always peaceful because he has no personal motive. And his only intention is to serve the Lord. And there are so many examples. Like we were talking about Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev, like, apparently, he's like, he was with the Kurus on the Kauravas side and fighting against the Pandavas, against Krishna in one way. But there was no change in his bhakti to the Lord. He was always in that same mood, always in the devotional mood. So he was exchanging the special rasa of fighting with the Lord. He was enjoying the rasa, and he was like, there's a beautiful prayers from Bhishma Dev will come up in the later on in Bhagavatam. At the time of his leaving his body, how he was remembering the Lord, how Lord remembered him. So Yudhishthira after the war was very disturbed, because of me, all these people have died, and just so that I can become king, I'm responsible all these, all these deaths and murders and all these problems. And he was very depressed. He would not even, take any guidance from Krishna himself. Bhagavad Gita he could not follow. Then Lord, arranging, because with one activity, Lord can do so many things. He took all the Pandavas to Bhishma, and the Pandavas, he asked, Yudhishthira Maharaj to dress like a king, because Bhishma always wanted to see Yudhishthira as the king. And the Lord asked him to, dress up properly as a king. All the brothers dressed like king, and then approached Bhishma. And Bhishma Dev was on his, bed of arrows, lying down, and he was just remembering the Lord at that time. Yeah, and when he was fighting or not fighting, or even at the time of the yajna that Yudhishthira Maharaj performed, Rajasuya yajna, Bhishma was so supportive of Krishna being the main worshipable personality in that yajna. And but there is no interruption to the service, even though he was most misunderstood, or maybe on the apparently on the wrong side. Just cooperating with the Lord's plan. The Lord obviously wanted to demonstrate, no matter who you are, you may be a Bhishma, or the strongest warrior of the time. Nobody could defeat him. Not even Parshuram could defeat him. He was such a great warrior. But even if he's on the wrong side, he will be destroyed. This is the Leela of the Lord, how he was cooperating with that situation. He knew exactly what the Lord wanted him to do, how he wanted him to act. This is the greatness of devotees, because they are always connected to the Lord. They know what Lord expects them, how the Lord expects them to behave, or what activities they need to perform. Yeah, and there's so many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. Like Prahlad Maharaj is uninterrupted, no matter what his father would put him to torture, what sort of torture it was. So many different ways of torture, but Prahlad Maharaj never gave up, his devotional service to the Lord. And in Bharat Maharaj, there was a temporary interruption, interruption. And you know what? The temporary interruption, a small gap, that was formed because he was a little bit distracted, to be that protector of the deer, little deer. There was a temporary interruption, but then again it was set back, properly by the Lord's mercy. Because Krishna also says, "Name bhakta pranashyati." Even if there's a temporary situation, Lord sets it right. But there is this concept of understanding that we learn from Bhagavatam with the story of Bharat Maharaj. If there is a small gap also, without any gap, that's santataya. The verse says santataya. And Bali Maharaj was a great example as well. Like Bali Maharaj, he actually demonstrates, how when a devotee gives himself to the Lord fully, Lord actually becomes so pleased with the devotee. Lord gives himself also to the devotee. There's an exchange of that. So we will discuss more about Bali Maharaj. There's so much to say. But if we understand the situation, like Bali Maharaj was, his own spiritual master was reminding him, see what you're doing, this is Vishnu himself, and he's going to take away all that you have, all your possession. I mean, in 3 steps. In 2 steps, Lord Vamandev covers the entire creation, and there is no place to put his 3rd step. And Bali Maharaj, in Bhagavatam, it says that he offers his own head to the Lord for the 3rd step, because he is given the position, and the position can always be lesser than the possessor, because Bali Maharaj was possessing the whole universe. He was the owner at the time, defeating Indra but he was the possessor. So the 3rd step that he allows, makes Lord to put on his own head. So uninterrupted in whatever situation it is, whether he is to give himself fully to the Lord, he was not going to deter from it. So uninterrupted, which is the word santataya and amayaya anuvritya, and favorably. Anuvritya, maya was without any reservation that, I can give you only 3 steps I said, but I did not say that you take the whole world, take the whole creation. No, when I say, 3 steps is 3 steps yours, my Lord can take everything. And it's a great thing that when Shukracharya was, stopping him, I said, no, it's great. The Lord has come here to ask what better position I can be in to give what I have to the Lord. Ambarish Maharaj, uninterrupted. And no matter what happened, the Durvasa was so angry at Ambarish Maharaj, and he was, he produced from his hair this great, this big body to destroy him, to kill him. Ambarish Maharaj was just peaceful, shant, just still praying to the Lord. It's mercy. And but not asking for protection directly. He did not ask protection directly. He was just, there serving, waiting Durvasa Muni. And when Durvasa was chased by the Lord's chakra, Durvasa traveled for whole 1 year, going across different places, and he came back finally after understanding that it's only the devotee of the Lord who can protect him. As soon as he comes, Durvasa tries to offer obeisances to Ambarish Maharaj, but Ambarish Maharaj is so he actually embraces Durvasa, and he said that Durvasa became so peaceful just by the embrace from Ambarish, from the devotee of the Lord. And that's the same, because devotee is peaceful, is shanta, because he always has that undeterred, uninterrupted love in that from the Lord. And I was also thinking about one past time Chitrakoot Maharaj also, the similar situation. He was cursed by Mother Parvati to take birth as a demon, the Vitrasura. But even after receiving the curse, he was just happily took it. And then Lord Shiva glorifies the devotees of the Lord, says how the devotees are always peaceful. They always take everything as the mercy of the Lord. For the devotees, happiness and distress both are the same, and they do not hamper the process of devotional service. Ahatuki apratihata. Because uninterrupted in all situations, whether it's happiness or the distress, they're always serving the Lord. And there is no other motivation, again unmotivated, anya bilashata sunyam, whatever material condition, the devotee is always serving. Because of this special, relationship, special love of the devotees for the Lord also loves his devotees. And he actually said that the devotees, with their love, they conquer the Supreme Lord. And because they are free from any such unreasonable desires, any personal desires, any personal motive, that's how they're able to conquer the Lord. And so the Lord is conquered by the devotees, and devotees are conquered by the Lord. That's the loving exchange between the devotees and the Lord, demonstrated in so many beautiful pastimes of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Ambarish Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor, there's a verse that explains, how Ambarish Maharaj was always, rendering devotional service to the Lord in all situations. And that's how, in one translation, Prabhupada is quoted Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's, that when the Lord bestows his own self upon a pure devotee, such a fortunate devotee can actually see the Lord, touch him, and directly engage in a service. Like George Harrison also, I want to see the Lord. There's a beautiful song that he wrote after meeting Srila Prabhupada, and after he was actually chanting, I want to see you, Lord. Such a beautiful, oh my Lord, a beautiful song that was sung by George Harrison also. So this is the amazing glories of rendering, unmotivated, uninterrupted, unreserved devotional service to the Lord. And and Srila Prabhupada, as I was saying before, is the inspiration for all of us, the guidance. He's given us everything. His personal achar, his example, and all the words, all the whole process that we need. Everything given by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, any other points that devotees would like to share? Any questions or comments? Any realizations you might have? Malika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shyam, Hare Prabhu. Wonderful class. What I understand from your explanation of, like at the beginning, you mentioned that we have read, Krishna was born And then he was a baby, he was taken from Dwarka to the Vrindavan. We know all these things, but do we have realization? That's what we need to have. So he gave all the wonderful, wonderful, example of all the devotees who really realized Krishna. And that's why Krishna get purchased by those devotees. So when do we have that, kind of a realization, understand, when Krishna, when I become, maybe, I don't know, when we become purified so that Krishna really, reciprocate with us. When that happen, then only we are in touch with Krishna. So we pray to the bottom of our heart so that one day, maybe by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what Srila Prabhupada has given us in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and hearing every day, reading every day, maybe one day we'll have a glimpse of Krishna's energy in our heart and purify us and help us to do some pure devotional service for us to, maybe give back to the spiritual world one day, not this life. I don't know how many lives I have to go. A wonderful, wonderful example of the devotee you've given, and that's how Krishna get purchased by those devotees. Like Bhishma, really, he did, because Krishna promised, I'm not going to lift any weapon. But when he saw Krishna lifting up that will, wanted to kill Bhishma, that's when he was really, really relishing. When we're reading this Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhishma was really relishing, and when Krishna's hair was all going up and he was sweating and he was really wanted to kill Bhishma, he really was enjoying that Lord is promising, he's, breaking his own promise. So he really had relish that, wonderful pastime. So it's so nice to hear, different devotee how they really have the reciprocation with Krishna and get purified, and so it's wonderful hearing. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for summarizing beautifully. You always does wonderful, summarization. Better than what I spoke. Thank you so much. Thank you, Matanya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhu. Oh,
Hare-
sorry. Go on, Mataji. Sorry.
Jolly Mata. No, Jolly Mataji, go.
No, go. You go.
Oh dear.
You
Sorry.
were first.
No. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing such beautiful pastimes. My question was, I recently connected to Narayan Kavach, and I was just wondering if singing Narayan Kavach every day contravenes this whole mood of Ahaituki Bhakti, because you're requesting the Lord to protect this and that and this and that, and this time of the day. Does that contravene this mood of Ahaituki, aspiring for Ahaituki Bhakti?
No, a lot of devotees do recite Narayan Kavach. I mean, taking shelter of the Lord is always good, in whatever form. So Lord is happy when we take shelter of the Lord. So I don't think actually that really, because ultimately we're taking shelter of the Lord. We're asking protection from the Lord. That's where the devotees go. Devotees seek protection, and there is no better protection from the Lord Himself. So
Okay.
I understand.
So to ask for something back is okay, like that, to ask for something back.
Yeah, kama sarva kamava moksha kama udardi tivrena bhakti yogena yajata purusham param. So that will come in the following chapter. We know about this verse. Kama sarva kamava.
Okay.
We have desire, no desire, all situation yajata
Go
purusham
to him.
param. We just worship the Lord. And this is Lord loves actually. One lecture I was hearing from Prabhupada. Lord becomes very happy when devotee comes to ask for the Lord, anything on the Lord. He is very pleased. He's always there to give to his devotees. He's always there, and becomes even more pleased because this is a personal exchange also in one way, because the good devotee understands the Lord as a person. Because when we ask You can only ask a person. The difference between the other transcendentalists is they don't think the Lord is a person. That's why they don't know what to ask. They just, they're either looking at the light or they're performing some tapasya or some yoga or some pranayama, whatever. But because the devotees understand the Lord is a person will have a heart, and a personal exchange means, dadati, and giving something in the service and receiving. So this is a very personal activity that devotees exchange with the Lord. I think it's very beautiful.
Okay, so it's like you can see it as if my body is protected, then I could do better sadhana.
Absolutely, Mataji.
Okay.
We need protection from the Lord. Lord, Mahaprabhu was going through the forest. What was he chanting? You can chant nicely, maybe. Keshava,
Krishna, 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 Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahima, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshama. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, Mahaprabhu is so good. Thank you for singing so nicely, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying that. That helps me a lot. Thank you, Prabhuji.
We
Hare
love
Krishna.
Hema Ben singing.
Yeah, that was Mataji once again on public demand.
Sing beautifully.
Krishna,
You stopped singing, Hema Mataji. Why? You used to sing.
Krishna, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahima, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshama, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahima. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Jai. Yes, Jolly Mataji.
Right. I'm just curious as to what the meaning is when Krishna to sort of pull the wheel off the chariot and use it as a weapon when the Pandavas and I mean he coached Arjuna into taking up his position as a warrior, and he was the highest, strongest spiritual warrior as well as physical warrior. I wondered why he had to, what's the meaning of him joining in, because Krishna was on his the Pandava side as well, and there's Bhima who is the strongest as well, and they were winners anyway originally. What was the meaning of him getting involved in that way? Sorry, I hope it's not too.
No, beautiful question. Thank you. It's actually, this is the pastime of the Lord we are still discussing after 5,000 years. If there was no
Yes.
such pastime, if they would have killed everyone and everything. Actually, in the 11th chapter of Krishna, when he shows his universal form to Arjuna, he says, everyone's already being killed as time he is. And Arjuna could see all those great warriors entering into the jaws of the Lord. But Lord gives credit to his devotees. But in this context that we are discussing, this is where the beautiful exchange of Lord, forgetting or maybe just undermining his own words. What other people would say in the world doesn't matter. Sometimes we say, okay, if I do this or I do this way or do something, what would the other people say? What will people think? Did I say right or not right, or I did not keep my words? We might be stuck to our words. The Lord, demonstrated the example that Lord can just, just break his own vow to not fight. At the same time, he can fight to keep vow of his devotees. So how his devotees for him are more important than he himself. His own promise is secondary, but the promise of his devotee is first. Promise that Bhishma had taken, that he will make the Lord pick up weapon. To keep that promise, he broke his own promise. This is the beautiful exchange of the Lord. And this is why the Lord is so personal. And in his exchanges with his devotees, there's so many beautiful pastimes it does. And and that's the whole purpose of Lord picking a weapon and also demonstrating Name Bhakta. He's given a promise, Name Bhakta Pranashati. He was willing to kill Bhishma. And Palika Mata is saying, when Bhishma saw that Lord is charging at him with the wheel, He just smiling and just kept his weapon on the side, and he just said, wow, what can better be positioned than I'm being, killed by the Lord himself. And Arjun is pulling the Lord, what are you doing? You've taken a promise not to fight, holding on to the Lord and somehow dragging the Lord. No, don't do it. And the Lord just wouldn't listen. As soon as Bhishma gives up the weapon, he just says, okay, given up the weapon, then he stops, So this is the beautiful part. As we go on in the following chapters, and when we come to the Bhishma's prayers, Bhishma is praying how he was seeing the Lord, and Mataji was very nicely. Lord's hair was all open. There was blood on his body. And that was the exchange that Bhishma was having with the Lord. He was actually shooting arrows at the Lord. And then he was, Lord was sitting as a charioteer. He was shooting arrows. And there was blood pouring out. I mean, how can blood come out from all spiritual body of the Lord? There's also said, but to give that, there's also a question that being asked. Like, Lord's body is wholly spiritual and the blood is material. How is the Lord coming out of the Lord's body? But because that exchange, the Bhishma is a warrior, he wanted to have the fighting exchange, the love of, as you say, Rasa Leela on the battlefield. Is Bhishma Dev and Lord Krishna. What was going on between them is the Rasa Leela. One devotee was saying Rasa Leela on the battlefield. And because that is the exchange that the devotee wants to have with the Lord. And this one of the rasas of the secondary mellows, there's 5 main mellows and there are other secondary mellows. And Virya Ras, this is the ras he was having with the Lord. So all the Lord's pastimes are just beautiful. And the devotees, as we were saying, how Lord gives the intelligence. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yenama upayanti te. The devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, are always discussing the pastimes of the Lord. In that they derive great satisfaction. And to such devotees who are always reciting or discussing the Lord's pastimes, Krishna gives them the intelligence so that they can come back to him. So all these pastimes are performed by the Lord for us so that we can discuss, and that will purify our existence. I don't know if that explains.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. I just recalled, I think, I don't think Krishna kills as such. He's I think it's in chapter 6 in the Bhagavad Gita. It says he's there to destroy the miscreants. So all the demons that he's destroyed, and they gain salvation anyway, but he's here to clean up the earth, I suppose.
Yes.
That is the demonic earth, yeah.
Vinashaya Duskritam in the 4th chapter. Yes.
That's right, yeah. Is that
he says that he comes, and then in Vrindavan he was, he was killing a demon every day or every hour, something like that, before the lunch and after the lunch. Vrindavan he's killed so many demons.
Yeah, Haribol. Sweet stories.
Amazing, very sweet pastime.
It's good to understand the meaning of it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Hare Krishna devotees, thank you so much for being here. And
Hare Krishna, I think Shailesh Prabhu wanted to know something. His hand is up.
oh, Shailesh Prabhu, sorry, I didn't see. Please speak, Prabhuji. I was waiting to hear from you.
I was trying the polite way of waiting in the queue this time. I think we have a turn on mic system here, which I thought let's do the proper way. I put my hand up.
No,
just wanted to add a little flavor to your beautiful class. Firstly, thank you for a very beautiful nectarian class. Really lovely. Hema then asked about the prayer. I was listening actually to some classes through Nectar Devotion, Acharya's commentary on Nectar of Devotion and Rupa Goswami's commentaries on that. And one of the things actually, although we should not ask of anything from the Lord because it becomes a bargain. As devotees, we should never ask for anything. But asking for health, and we are conditioned souls, and therefore we have material propensities and material desires. The one important element when we do pray, we should pray to the Lord. If we're going to ask for anybody, we should ask for it from only the Lord, nobody else, no demigod worship, of course. And if we are asking from the Lord, what we should always add in front of that request is, if it so pleases you, if you desire and if it pleases you, because then we're turning it to Krishna's pleasure, even though it might be our material desire and propensity we're asking for, we turn it back to his desire, and if it so pleases him, then you do so. So that's a nice way. I thought it was such a potent and powerful way of turning our material propensities and our tendency to keep asking. We ask in a prayerful mood, where we say, if it so pleases you, and give it back to the Lord. So his desire. So we can turn even material desires and propensities to the Lord's satisfaction by asking him if it pleases you. I thought it was a really potent.
Very beautiful point, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. You always have such gems. Thank you so much. Yes.
No gems. It was just only what I heard, Prabhuji.
No,
It's
beautiful.
not my gems.
Yeah, this is very nice. Thank you. This is how, devotees say that if it pleases you, Lord, then maybe you can make this arrangement. Wonderful.
And one other nice point again on Jolly Mataji's comments just earlier. So the Lord comes, although he says he comes to annihilate the miscreants, actually he doesn't come to annihilate the miscreants. He comes to deliver the devotees, because to annihilate miscreants, he can send his agents and he doesn't need to come personally. He does that as a side product, as a byproduct, but his primary purpose is to actually deliver and to give his darshan and perform his leelas for the pleasure of his devotees. And so it is the latter half of that verse that he comes for, not the prior.
Yes, indeed. Yes. So
Thank you. That's wonderful. Because he doesn't need to, does he? He doesn't need to kill or destroy or.
Well, even in Vrindavan, actually, all the demons that are being destroyed, actually, it's not Krishna destroying them. It's actually Vishnu that destroys them. So there's a lot more subtle. There's so much subtlety in understanding all of these. So Krishna from Mathura, when Vasudeva brings him, actually is Vishnu form, and he merges with Krishna of Vrindavan, Gokul. And it is the Vishnu element of Krishna's half that destroys the demons, not actually Krishna. Krishna has nothing to do with actually destroying demons. Yeah. That's how our acharyas describe this. It's so sweet when we get into the detail of all of this to understand and relish how Krishna performs his pastimes. It's just mind-blowing. Sorry, Prabhuji. Sorry, I'll stop talking.
Perfect. You're uplifting.
The meaning is wonderful. I must say, that's what captured my attention. To know the meaning is so beautiful. And also, I think these demons destroy themselves in some way. So, but the story that goes like that is to show that, as you say, is to clean up the material what you should I say, when the thing about the Pandavas, they were robbed of their rights. So I think when people behave in that way, they're covetous, they destroy themselves in some way, because it's greed, not need, is it?
Yeah. Thank you for raising this, because if we go up and up, I feel like even the demons are never demons. Like they're just here to facilitate the pastimes of the Lord, like Jai Vijay with the gatekeepers. And Lord wanted to have the rasa of fighting with someone. So his servants come down and they become Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, all the great demons. There's all ultimately happening, for the pastimes of the Lord. And this pastime, Prabhuji was saying, that this pastime of the Lord gives joy to the devotee. And devotees are very joyfully, relishing this killing of the demons, and there's so many different dimensions to this whole of Lord's pastimes and leelas. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Prabhu. Jai.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sailesh Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for nice class.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Shyam Hari Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji, thank you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Shakar Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyam